So tonight, though, I want to begin my remarks by recognizing our facilities coordinator, Doug Sherwood. And I believe Doug is in the audience today. I don't know if we can pin him. There he is. Hello, Doug, who's retiring at the end of this month. Doug has been with the district for over 20 years in a number of capacities, but always as part of our facilities work and always with a commitment to ensuring that our buildings are as well maintained as possible, given the constant struggle for adequate resources to sustain them. And that's something that Doug has grappled with and fought hard for all of this time. In the nearly 6 years that I've had the pleasure of working with Doug, there's so many things that stand out that it's hard to enumerate them. He's my go-to source for historical knowledge about our capital improvement plan. He has encyclopedic knowledge of what was, what wasn't, and often a very clear recollection of the why associated with each of those projects. He's a rigorous keeper of files. When someone asks for something obscure about our buildings, you can honestly assume that if he doesn't have it, it no longer exists. And he has the coolest email salutation of anyone I have ever worked with. Anyone who's ever received an email from Doug notices this convention, which is a carryover from his days in the military, and make him endearing to all. So as you roll off, Doug, know that you will be missed greatly. Facilities Coordinator Sherwood, Doug, may your retirement bring you good health, less stress, and more time for your wife and grandchildren. Thank you for everything that you've done for the Portland Public Schools over the years. We will miss you. And we have some parting gifts for you. Obviously, you are remote, so I'll bring it to the office for you, but this is, our amazing poster of the Portland Public Schools framed for you to put in a place of honor in your home. And we also have a certificate for you. So I will bring those things to the office and have them there for you. But Doug, thank you so much for everything that you've done for the Portland Public Schools and that you will continue to do through the end of this month. So thank you.
Thank you, Superintendent Butonic. Could I have a time for a few comments?
Absolutely.
Though most of you know me be quiet, behind the scenes, active listener, I may need more than 3 minutes tonight, and hopefully you can oblige. It has truly been an honor and a privilege to work with and for so many professionals who care so passionately about our students and their future, as well as in a community where education remains an important cornerstone. It really does take a village, and I have been fortunate to be part of so many transformative changes that I believe have already made and will continue to make significant changes in our future and impacts on our community. We have built 3 brand new schools and are finishing up 5 major renovations, with East End being the first new school in the city of Portland over 30 years when it opened in 2006, and the last BFOF project, likely Longfellow, to be completed in 2024. We've had 2 major multi-million-dollar energy projects, which have saved Portland taxpayers millions of dollars to invest elsewhere, as well as our recent investment in alternative energy to generate 70% of our electrical need within the coming year. We've also had the experience of, and I know some people regretted it, others have welcomed it, of carving up paths to welcome Casco Bay High School, and for a brief period of time, district office as well. One of the other significant changes since my tenure arrival in May of 2000, we only had 1 school then where we had a phone in every classroom. New technology, voice over IP, allowed us now to have a telephone, not only in every classroom and every school building, but every office and occupied space throughout the district. Again, when I first arrived, we notified folks of emergencies or situations or school closures using reverse 911. Well, I can tell you School Messenger has been a godsend and something that John Cord and I worked to bring to the district and been used in many other different places to get notice and word out to parents. So again, we've also been very concerned about safety of our students. When I first came, there were 3 buildings in the district that had over 22 keyed entries. We tried to get that down to the state number of around 5 or 6 and have a designated point of entry for the public and students on a regular basis that hopefully in not too distant future, we'll finally have each one of those entrances controlled by a buzzer system, intercom, and video. We've also spent the last year on years in COVID enhancing air quality and embracing new technology to improve safety and health of students. I've also had the opportunity during my tenure to connect with students over my 2 decades here with this district. I was proud and honored to work with students at Moore Middle School as a mentor in the Winning Project Citizen Team. I've worked many projects with students at Portland High regarding energy and environmental issues. We created the first of its kind in the state cafeteria food waste separation program that is successful because of students. Behind the scenes, working with the board's sustainability policy, also reinforcing our commitment to the environment. I most recently have worked with Food Fuels Learning School Gardens program, and that's become a godsend for many students and activities to bring learning outdoors, and along with obviously the recent launch of our outdoor learning during COVID. I've even seen a lot of people come and go, obviously, at least 5 or 6 superintendents, I believe. But notables include my office neighbor when I finally moved into my office, in Martins Point office block, from a location endeared to me when I first came to work for the school department, on the veranda overlooking the bay. The private office next to me belonged to legislator and current USM President Glenn Cummings. And later on, in around 2010, when we had our first major initiative on security and emergency preparedness, one of my partners was a lieutenant from the Portland School Department, who's now the State Commissioner of Public Safety, Michael Soschuk. Where they have moved on, I have until now given everything I could to improve teaching and learning. I have not done this alone. As I said earlier, it takes a village of dedicated professionals to succeed. Our maintenance and custodial professionals have gone above and beyond, and the city's Parks and Recreation and Public Works staff have been there when we needed them. Both groups care about the health and safety and learning environment of our students and the health of our staff. Now it's time for me to move on away from the 24/7, 365 facilities life that has been the way I've gone for so long now, even in my military days, to get some sleep, do a little traveling, and spend more time with those I hold most dear, as the superintendent said, family, particularly my grandchildren. I will close with 2 stories I will never forget in my tenure here at Portland Public Schools. Have nothing to do with success, more so to do with the sheer terror of what happens if you don't do things the way you should do them. While checking snow load alone on the roof of Portland High School about 10 years ago, after a snow and ice storm, I fell and almost slid off the edge. And another job checking the snow load almost knee deep on the hall school roof when someone else thought everyone was off the roof and locked the hatch, so I couldn't get off the roof. But you know, you worry about some things like that, but I walked to the front. I was all covered in snow, knee deep, and a young child out front said, "Dad, is that Santa Claus?" So there was a good ending to how that comes together. Thank you all. It's been a long and very productive and personally benefiting tour. Thank you.
Doug, thank you. I'd never heard those stories. So I love being able to hear those as you depart. So thank you again for everything that you've done, and we will miss you.
Thank you, sir.